really. We'll see how they go on the weekend. What about the Red V? Now, Billy Slater, in his podcast, which is remarkably called the Billy Slater podcast, mentioned that the Dragons can make the 8.
Mm-hmm.
You think Shane Flanagan can turn them into a finals-like outfit? Now, Corey Allen, well, he's signed, but he's done for the year with the knee, poor bloke.
Yep.
Tom Eisenhuth, Raymond Faitala, Mariner, Cole Flanagan, Jesse Marshke, he went good for them in the first trial. Hame Sele, good signing. He's another one that started with the Dragons. Christian Tui Pelotu, and you can add to that list that I've got Luciano Leilua. So they've gone shopping.
Yeah, they bought a lot of players, bought well. They're all Jesse Marshke's interesting because he played with the Bears in the New South Wales Cup last year.
Mm-hmm.
They made the grand final, but Jason Taylor, who coached that side, had a big rap on him. Said he's a real dangerous player, tradesman type player. He can fill in the half, so that's a good pick up there. Hame Sele went good for South Sydney. Luciano Leilua, obviously, is now coming into the side, which gives them a bit of impact. I've been saying every year, people have been saying the Dragons are no good, and I said they are. But the Dragons have got a good roster, really good roster, some really experienced, hard, big men. I could never understand why they were going as poorly as they were. And even this year, I was surprised with their first trial against South Sydney. But, the first 30 minutes, I thought, okay, this is going to be okay. And then they sort of fell apart. But then last week against the Tigers, they just ran roughshod over them. And I think they'll have that steely attitude. A lot of really strong, experienced, senior type players. And whenever you got Ben Hunt, if he's, his mind's on the job and his heart's in it, which it normally is, he can create points for them. I mean, very, very hard side to beat. Your Jack Birds and your Suleys and your Zach Lomaxes and those, they're all big, strong, hard men, the forward pack.
Looks fit, Jack Bird.
He does, and he's probably, Jack Bird's one of them blokes that's always wanted to be a lock forward or a 5'8" or whatever. But he's played his best football as a centre. The coach has come in and said, no, you're playing centre, and that's just it. Don't talk to me about anything else. He's moved Zach Lomax to the wing. Well, he's going to have a sook, but no, you're playing on the wing. That's what you're going to do for the team. So
he might get his hands on the ball more on the wing, Zach Lomax.
Wingers these days are touching the ball far more than centres.
Yeah.
Far more. They're kicking to them. And if you thought of playing him fullback, then there's no problem with him playing on the wing and returning the ball.
He's a weapon with a cross kick.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, Terrell Sloan, who's obviously got great talent, but, he's still got to mature physically and mentally into some of the parts of the game that he's not so good at the moment. He's electric with the ball in hand in broken play, but in the tight hand-to-hand combat sort of stuff, he's still learning his trade. But if you've got those two big wingers, Ravalawa and Zach Lomax, getting back there and helping run back the ball for him, and a little bit less pressure on that's part of the game for him, it frees him up to do other things. So I think that it's a good, strong and they're going to run roughshod physically over a number of teams in this competition, and they're all durable blokes. I think. People mix on the run. If they run last, I'll walk from Wollongong to Belmore for charity. They just won't run last.
We got that, please? Very good.
What's that?
We've got that on tape.
What did I say?
You never know.
Well, it won't happen anyway. It won't happen anyway. They won't run. I've been saying it for years. They've got a good side.
I know that. They were in second last last year.
I don't know how. I don't know why. I can't answer you why.
Well, one thing he will do, Flanagan, obviously he's a polarising figure, but he will bring them together. And he coaches in that physical way, doesn't he? He'll encourage those big physical guys to go up and play like that.
Yeah, he's got big outside backs, which is what he had at the Sharks, who did a lot of the yardage work for him. He'll save his forwards up for the defence. He's got Ben Hunt there who can wheel the team around the field. He's got the X factor in Terrell Sloan at fullback. Zach Lomax is a great goal kicker. He's bought some. Luciano Leilua has got that little bit of X factor with him as well.
Bit of skill on
they're well covered. I don't think injury is going to be a problem to them. I think Tom Eisenhuth is a player I've always liked. He came from the Melbourne Storm, brought a bit of leadership. And
you're upbeat about the Dragons. I'm hearing more positivity about the Dragons than the other two teams we just talked about.
I have been for several years. I could not understand why they performed the way they did. I just don't. And they're even stronger this year. So they'll be hard to beat whoever plays them. Who do they play in week 1?
5th to 12th they could finish.
Who do they play? They'll be in that mix.
I do know this. I'm calling it actually on the radio. Titans up there.
Yeah, okay.
Titans are $1.50 favourite already.
Mm-hmm. It's under the odds.
All right. Gus Gus likes the chances of St George Illawarra again.
I've got everyone finishing between 5th and 12th.
Who would you play fullback if you were coaching the Dragons?
Terrell Sloan.
You would?
Yep.
You wouldn't roll the dice on Lomax?
No, I'm petrified of playing against Terrell Sloan.
Okay.
He's a player who scares opposition coaches. But
You might get
there's other parts of the game he's got to get right. You know, he's got to come to terms that sometimes this is hand-to-hand combat and you've got to get physical with it. And not every time you get the ball, you're going to have a lot of room to move, you know. And at fullback, you're the last line of defence. You've got to treat the in-goal like it's, you know, it's your property. You can't let him into there. But that's maturity. That's just coming and playing with all these senior players who won't tolerate any of the other rubbish.
That's true, yeah.
He's going to, you know, he'll learn his trade very, very quickly, let me tell you. They got some good young kids. They got some outstanding young junior sides there at the moment, St George and Illawarra. So hopefully they get that part of it right. But they won't run last.
And if they do, you're walking, bro.
I'll walk-
Wollongong to Belmore.
I'll walk from Wollongong to Belmore
I'll
for charity.
come with you.
Yeah, for charity if they run last. They won't be running last.
It's a long walk, isn't it?
I won't have to buy any new shoes. Right?
We're going to go Picton Road.